let's jump in and have a look and see what everybody's been up to on the inside of this house. Before we do that though, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe this video, and if you're looking to build a custom home or do a renovation of any sort, listen, we would love to work with you and help you out. Just reach out via our website, or you can call the office and ask to talk to somebody in the sales department, 604-971-4899. All right, let's jump in and take a look. We are in the foyer now, and we can see that a ton of work has been completed. Well, I can, maybe you can't. So I can see the electricians have got a ton of the splicing work done. Splicing is when they take the wires that come to a receptacle and get them into the receptacle and put them together however they need to be to continue wiring the house. I can also see that the HVAC contractors have been in here and they've been starting to do their duct sealing. So I'll give you a look and just see what they're doing here to get these sealed up to maximize efficiency. We've had the low voltage contractor on site running their alarm wires, running, I don't know if we're doing in ceiling speakers on this project or not, but they're getting all of the alarm wires in, all of the Cat 5 or Cat 6 or Cat 6E, depending on what they're going with on this. I can see there's a thermostat wire over here now. So yeah, I mean, let's just jump in and just kind of look around and see what's going on. This is the main floor mudroom laundry area. So we can see here, we've got our laundry group ready to go here. We put floor drains underneath all of our washing machines, just as a general rule of thumb. So when you buy a Sprucehill home, whenever we've been able to do it, we always make sure that we put a drain underneath the washing machine just to prevent flooding, right? All of the hot water pipe, as we talked about in previous videos, wrapped in insulation to maximize efficiency of that system. Everything else is looking really, really clean and really, really nicely installed. Up here, these little wires up here are for some sort of low voltage lights, and those are going to the transformer, which live in this box right down here. So low voltage light, low voltage light. This one here is gonna be for a pendant going in that bathroom. We are in the kitchen nook area here. So again, we've got more low voltage wiring here for under cabinet lights and whatever is going on here. So we'll see what that's gonna be about in the future. One of the other things that we're doing on this project and have done on previous is we are using poly as a spray foam backer with acoustic seal around the opening. So once the insulation gets installed up there, it's going to expand, right? And it's going to really push that poly up against that acoustic seal. Now, why do we care? Well, the reason we care is it is possible for the spray foam to start to pull away from the framing in time. It's possible. It shouldn't happen, but it's possible. So regardless, we need to have some sort of backer here for the spray foam to get sprayed against. So what we found is by doing this technique here, we maximize current and long-term air tightness, right? Because if this spray foam starts to shrink away from the framing member, then it doesn't matter because there's poly behind it. But also by having that spray foam going in there, it really gets a really nice seal of the poly to the acoustic seal. So this little trick that I invented, I'll take full credit for that idea, but it works like a hot damn. It works really, really well. All right, so moving around through here, we've got a metric shit ton of low voltage wiring here. I'm not sure what's that all about, but that's for alarm or something like that. You can see all of this stuff heading down to the mechanical room. We've got our duct in here for the hood fan. So this hood fan really sucks. Moving through here, we've got all of the electrical work nicely spliced in here. Now, one of the things that I see here that we're gonna need to make a change to, and I only just figured this out in the last year, is we wanna make sure that any thermostats are not near a heat source. And so, you know, if this is just traditional, regular, manual on-off switches, it's not an issue. But most of the homes that we're building these days, there's frequently dimmer switches here. Well, if you put your hand on top of a dimmer switch, you're gonna find that it can be warm, sometimes really warm. So what we wanna do is we wanna make sure that the thermostat is either underneath the switches or away from the switches, because if the thermostat is above the switches, that hot air is going to rise and it's gonna give a false reading to the thermostat, causing the mechanical system to not operate the way that we want it to. So again, in here, right, everything's all spliced, looking clean, everything's labeled, looking good. That's looking nice. Again, our low voltage wire for our cabinet lighting is all going in. So we can see in here that there's gonna be, it looks like there's gonna be lighting in the upper of these cabinets. So I'm assuming that these, it looks like from the drawing here that these are gonna be glass door fronts on these cabinets here. So they're gonna look really nice with all of this turned on in here. So really, really cool. Let's jump into the formal living room. So, I mean, this is a really cool space, right? I mean, nice, big vaulted ceilings, looks amazing. Like really, really, really cool. Nice space. And again, we've got all of that acoustic seal poly and the tail ends here to make sure that the spray foam has something to go up against. A really good idea. The only next best thing is to actually put your insulation on top of the roof and do 2 layers of sheathing on your roof. We haven't had an opportunity to build like that yet, but I certainly would welcome it if you're thinking about building a home and you want to really see what high performance, high insulation looks like. That'd be really fun to do. Back down to the mechanical area here, right? So we can see the plumbers have been hard at work getting everything all cleaned up and ready to go so we can get our rough-in inspections completed and start getting ready to drywall, or insulate rather than drywall. So we've got a little ways to go. Realistically, if all things go well, we should be starting to insulate in 2 or so weeks. Here we've got all of that low voltage wire that we've been talking about today. So this is all Cat 5 and Cat 6. Yet another really nice space. So, you know, again, like for me, I'm just looking to see things that don't make sense or that I'm not happy about, which I'm currently struggling to find, which is good. I prefer not to find problems. This home has a secondary suite, and it's a fully legalized secondary suite. And in BC anyways, don't know about what the rules are where you live, but in BC, we need to have a secondary panel for that secondary suite so that the occupant of the secondary suite has full control over all of their electrical items. So, you know, like if the breaker blows on the dryer or on the stove or kitchen plug or something like that, they can just come in here and change it. Now, this is obviously sitting here open, but you'll also notice that there is no wire coming in here bringing power to this bad boy yet. So we've got to still get electricity into this panel, which is why we're not too fussed about it being open for the moment. But certainly if this were live, we would want to have this covered. So for me, one of the things that I obsess about is preventing people from using doors and windows that they shouldn't. I want our clients to be the ones damaging doors and damaging door frames. I don't want one of our trade partners or one of my team damaging it. So we'll keep that door closed. Again, in here, we've got a ton of additional work completed. Low voltage is in. Electrical is looking really tidy, really clean. You know, since we've been here, electrical, the splicing takes so long, right? Like, I mean, they've got to pull the ends off the wires. They got to marret things together, figure out circuits and how everything's gonna run. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to wire a 3-way switch. I have. And I think I've failed every time I've tried. That's why we hire electricians to do the job professionally and properly the first time. Again, in here, we're in really, really good shape. And the side's looking really nice and clean. I mean, even though it looks a little bit messy, trust me, it's not that messy. And what'll be really fun is to come and show you guys what this place looks like before we insulate. We go hog wild cleaning our projects up before we insulate. We want to make sure that we're not trapping any debris, sawdust. We want to make sure that everything is nice and clean before we insulate, because as soon as the insulators are done, the drywallers are right behind them. So making sure the site is clean and organized is a really, really important step. And I really recommend you make sure that you, if you're a contractor, are doing a thorough clean before you insulate. And if you're a homeowner hiring somebody to do the work for you, make sure that you get them to clean everything before the insulation goes in. It's also going to give you an opportunity to see mistakes, right? When you have stuff everywhere, it becomes very difficult to see what everything is. So if you get all of the crap out, all of the scrap plywood, all of the everything, and it's just the house, you can start to see any issues and make sure you get them fixed. Because if we fix these issues before we insulate, they're relatively cheap to fix. Once we've insulated, like, you know, within a day or two of insulating, we are drywalling. And once you're there, it's basically a sprint to the finish line. So if you are having to go back and fix things after you've insulated, which means after you've drywalled, it's gonna cost you a whole lot more, especially if any spray foam is being used in the exterior walls. That makes it even more challenging. That about wraps up our visit for today, June the 4th. Listen, there's a ton of stuff that goes into building homes. And if you wanna learn more about what goes on behind the walls, in front of the walls, this is your channel. Like and subscribe. Spruce Hill does things a little bit differently than a lot, and we really take a lot of pride in what we do. So that's our walkthrough for today. Installation in 2 weeks, maybe 3. By the end of June, mark my words, by the end of June, we'll be either insulating or insulated. That's Spruce Hill promise. All right, thank you so much for watching. Catch you next time.